What's good? This is Trey with fearlessbosses.com coming to you with a video. I'm going to talk about money, and I'm going to talk about why I believe money does grow on trees. Now, obviously, there's no money tree in my backyard, but the famous saying, quote, money doesn't grow on trees. I feel as though that saying is a trap. It's designed to trap you, to keep you from excelling, to keep you from thinking abundantly and believing that, there's no shortage of money. So in this video, I want to clear that up and help you to expand your mindset, expand your thinking, and understand that money does grow on trees if you want it to grow on trees. So let's talk about that. So first, I want to say there's this scarcity and lack mindset that we've all it's been forced into our brains. Growing up, we hear this thing, money doesn't grow on trees. I'm not made out of money, don't waste your money, save your money. Yeah, you want to save your money, you want to be observant, and you don't want to make any dumb decisions or risk your money when it's not needed. But at the same time, you don't want to be in this scarcity lack mental state where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to make the wrong decision with my money. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with my money. Man, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. It's horrible. It's a terrible mentality to have. Okay. And the people that tell you, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, and those little like cute sayings, and it's all just to keep you locked into this low standard, and it's like people don't want to see you excel. People don't want to see you be great. They want to keep you safe. They want to keep you comfortable. They want to keep you average. And as an entrepreneur, as somebody who wants to build their lifestyle of freedom and be financially free, and be able to call the shots, write your own paychecks, and basically live life on your terms, you can't think like that. All right. You can't be in this enough sort of I just need enough money to pay my bills. I just want to make $1,000 a month to pay my bills. As a goal starting out, okay, you want to hit $1,000 and go up $2,000, but you don't just want to stay at $1,000 just so you can pay your bills, or stay at $2,000 a month or whatever. You want to keep going higher and higher. Okay. And the reason for that is because not only will you have, abundance when it comes to money, but you also have an abundant mindset. You'll be able to enjoy life more. You'll be able to let go of money and not feel uptight about it. Okay, your mindset is the number one reason why you are and aren't achieving your financial goals. Okay, so if you are achieving your financial goals and your income is rising, it's because you have a good mindset. All right, you're thinking about being greater, about being better, about overcoming. If your income is not where it's supposed to be, or if it's declining or whatever, if you're just not happy with your income and it's been like that for a while, you have to look at the mirror and see what are you doing wrong. Okay, it's your mindset that's keeping you back. You are your worst enemy. Okay, I can tell you exactly what you need to do to make a certain amount of money right now, and you might do it, but you're not gonna go all in because your mindset is in this lack mentality. Like, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if it's I don't have what it takes? What if it's too hard? What if I don't have the skills? What if I don't have the, and that's a mentality that's just gonna keep you stuck. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is the scarcity and lack mindset. You need to be able to detect it. You need to be able to detect when you're saying things to yourself that you shouldn't be saying, when you're doing things you shouldn't be doing. All right. There's no shortage of money. You need to start thinking abundantly. When you spend $500 on paid traffic, let's say you spend $500 on paid traffic, and you don't make any money. You don't get any return on investment. And then you say, you know what? I give up. Why would you do that? You just spent $500 on testing something. So you just going to throw that $500 away? No, you spent $500 on test and paid traffic. Now you know what doesn't work. So you continue. Maybe next time you don't spend $500 on traffic. You learned from that. But you don't quit. You don't stop. You just spent $500 on paid traffic. Why would you just stop? You already spent the $500. You might as well keep going. Because what's on the other side of resistance? Success. That's what's on the other side of resistance. When you overcome resistance, it's success. Okay? You know, if you here's a good example. Okay? If you go up and you ask a girl on a date, all right, this is the example I like to use because I have experience with this. You go up, you ask a girl on a date, you ask one girl on a date, chances are she's going to say no, right? What if you go and ask another girl, then another girl, then another girl, then another girl? What's going to happen? Eventually, somebody's going to say yes. And why is that? Because you've overcome the resistance. All right? There's always going to be resistance. Okay? In this case, instead of just focusing on one girl, I decided I'm going to ask another one and another one. Okay? And then, so at some point, I overcome the resistance. Or I could just stay on that one girl, ask her once, she says no, maybe I wait a couple of days, ask her again, keep asking her until eventually she's like, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a shot. You know what I mean? So you have to overcome resistance. Don't expect it to work, everything to work the first time, to be easy the first time. There's always going to be resistance when you try something new. If you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to live a life of abundance, your whole life you've been living average, below, what your potential, and now you decide you want to go and be great. Of course, it's not going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take some consistent dedication. It's going to take a different mentality, okay? So here's that mentality I'm talking about, okay? Money does grow on trees. Let me tell you why. In order to build your money tree, or in this case, build a business, a successful business, you have to plant a seed. Okay, so you plant your seed. So what do I mean by plant your seed? You build your website, you buy your domain, you get your hosting account, you get your autoresponder. All right, you create your product. That's your seed. You plant your seed, then you water it daily. How do you water it daily? You send traffic to it. You increase the conversions. You edit the sales copy. You go and hire a copywriter. Maybe you could go hire a designer. You go hire a coach, somebody to coach you. That's what you call watering it daily. You're watering your seed. You don't just buy your domain and your website and then leave it there. You got to do something. You got to, send traffic to it. You got to put some content on your website. You got to read books to learn how to do things properly. You got to get around people that know how to do this type of stuff. Hire a coach, link up, find some people, some like-minded individuals, join a membership site, whatever you have to do to, allow that seed to grow. That's why I call it, that's why I say money does grow on trees, because the whole concept of how you grow a tree is the same thing when it comes to growing a business. You plant your seed and you water it daily and you watch it grow. It has to grow. It might go through some stages where, it doesn't grow as fast as it should, but there's going to be some other stages where it grows rapidly. All right. But the only way for it to grow is for you to water it daily. You are in control of your life. You must accept responsibility for everything. I don't care what your situation is, who you're dealing with, how you're dealing with it, who's trying to stop you, there's always going to be resistance. That's the one thing you need to understand. Everyone has their own form of resistance. Even the people that you think that everything is perfect for them, if you really go into their life and look in their life, you'll see there's resistance there. Somewhere, there's some form of resistance somewhere. All right. Everyone has to deal with it. Be different, embrace your uniqueness. Very important. Okay, everybody is different. Everyone, when it comes to business, a lot of people like to copy. In the beginning stages, it's okay to like take someone's principles and concepts and kind of just follow those principles to get started, to build your foundation. But once that foundation is built, it's time for you to become you. Okay, when I just got started online, I was following the ebooks and the trainings or whatever. Then after a while, I became my own unique person, and I started the came up with my own style of doing things, my own way of looking at things, and I became my own unique person. Okay, you're not gonna find anybody in my community, in my space, that's like me, because I'm myself. I'm not copying anybody. I'm not following anybody. I take what other people are doing. I learn from it, but I don't copy exactly what everyone is doing. I do my own thing, and that's how you have to be. But in the beginning stages, you do need a mentor. You do need other people you can follow and learn from. Get around people who think abundantly. Most likely, the people around you are probably have that lack mentality that I was talking about. They think they live in this scarcity mindset, and it's gonna affect you. So you need to get away from those people. Get around people that think abundantly. I'm not saying you could to dump your friends, but I'm also saying you need to spend more time with people that think abundantly. So find people, if they're in your area, it may be just you have to join a mastermind, get a coach. I always say coach because not only are you around somebody that has that abundant mindset, that has achieved those goals you're trying to achieve, but you're also paying them. So there's also now another motivation for them to help you. You see what I'm saying? Now they are responsible. They're part responsible for your success. So that's why I always say, get a coach, get a mentor. Read books written by those who have achieved abundance and of wealth and understand what it takes. So read books, off the top of my head, some good books. Let's see. The Millionaire Fast Lane. That's a book I just ordered. I'm gonna read it. It's been recommended by a lot of people, so I'm gonna read that book. Some books that I've already read. Mastery by Robert Greene. So it's about mastering skills and becoming great at something. The 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent Curtis Jackson is basically about being fearless in business and in life. And fearless meaning you have fear, but you still, go towards it and overcome it. Okay. For whatever reason, I can't really think of all the books. I've read a lot of books. I have a big, how would you say, library. I just have a whole bunch of books that I've read. But if you want to know the books that I recommend, you can email me, Trey@fearlessboss.com. You can email me, and I'll give you a list of the books I recommend. But yeah, read books. You can basically type in your topic on Amazon and then find books, if it's about building the business or the mindset or, whatever it is. You can find books of people that have been through what you're going through right now and that have achieved success. Be goal oriented. Understand that resistance is inevitable, but if you overcome resistance, success is inevitable. So don't expect your progression to success to be easy. Because it's not. That's just how life is. There's going to be resistance. The resistance is there to make you a better person. All right. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. I hope you got some, valuable information out of this. If you want to become a fearless boss, which is who I am, and I try to, help people become fearless bosses, basically just somebody who is fearless when it comes to achieving their goals, and somebody who wants to be their own person, be their own boss, write their own paychecks. Okay, you need to make a change. I invite you to check out my blog for more related content. If you're looking for a coach, a mentor, I will mentor you and help you achieve your goals. You can sign up for free coaching call. But for more information, you can go to fearlessboss.com to get more free content. And also, if you want to sign up to get a free coaching call, you can do that as well. Thanks for watching this video. Peace.